Hey, everybody, just want to do a little recap about what we did Sunday. We started in the book of Mark, which sometimes called the Gospel of Mark, according to Peter. It's believed that John Mark wrote down the words of Peter, possibly in Rome, and a lot of persecution and stuff was going on. But I want to point out a couple of things about how God sometimes calls family to be in ministry. Maybe how he starts us off in business, and then he ends up putting us in ministry. Here, especially in verse number 60, passing along the side of the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon and Andrew, the brother of Simon, casting their nets into the sea, for they were fishermen. And then, boom, he calls them out. And sometimes it feels like they were blindly following Jesus. But if we was to go into another gospel, the gospel according to John, here we find that actually that he first found his own brother Simon and said to him, "We have found the Messiah." We actually find out that he had already met Jesus, listened to Jesus, followed Jesus perhaps, been part of his ministry already. And then he goes and tells his brother, and in this conversation, obviously they must have been developing a relationship, and he calls these brothers out. But there's also another two brothers just a little few verses down, or the next verses, we find out there's another set of brothers that were also fishermen. So how about if God sometimes maybe gets us started in business somehow, and then he uses that business to perhaps launch us into the gospel, to preaching the gospel, however it might be. Maybe it's through the business, or maybe it's in being missionaries in a foreign field or some way. Who knows? So what I want to say, if you have somehow connections like that, cherish that, hold on to that, and see where God wants to take you. These guys could have been maybe in their 20s or maybe in their mid-30s by the time that Jesus called them. Sometimes we think that we should have life figured out by that time, and these guys didn't have it figured out at that time. So I just want to encourage you, cherish those moments and see where God wants to take you. Don't be in a hurry. Take it a day, take it a week, and see where God wants to take you, okay? God bless you. See you guys next time.
Thank you for joining us today. You can find the full message at praycenter.net. Be sure to tune in next week for more words of encouragement with Pastor John Penner.